John, this UMC thing.
Yeah, saw you took some social media heat for that.
Yeah, that's what I do. It's what for again, black people. For all the black people that say I don't talk about white people, I took a lot of heat talking about white people yesterday,
Oh man,
and defending Jackson in the same breath. By the way,
yeah,
here I am defending an alleged Jackson thug that allegedly beat up a white woman. I mean, I broke all the rules. Breaking rules when necessary yesterday. I broke all y'all so-called rules for me yesterday.
You should put together like a chart when you do that, or like an Excel sheet.
Yeah,
you could pull it up and reference it.
Yeah, well, back March 11th, 2025 at 2:07 p.m. I made a post that says, "I don't believe this white woman."
Right.
Hashtag believe all women.
Yeah. Well, I told you this yesterday. I was flying back on the plane and I was telling Lindsay, I said, it came up and I said something about this just, and again, I'll preface this with it. I mean, if this is true and this happened, I feel bad about the situation, but I just, something didn't sit right with me. And the first thing, and the reason I say this is someone that's interviewed tons of victims of crime. And so it's not like I'm speaking upon with no experience in this matter at all. It just, a lot of times people don't, when they're like a violent attack, post that on social media was my first thought. And because a lot of times, having to interview people in situations, a lot of times they don't even want to talk to you. It depends on, like, it's hard to get them to even talk to you because they're so traumatized from the actual event. So that was one thing, obviously, that I thought about. And, it just, there was just several other things throughout that just made me question it. Now, again, this may have happened, but it just also another thing. I was telling her on the plane too, working at the DA's office so long, I just didn't see that many attacks in that parking lot. I know it's happened. I know it's happened before.
Yeah, I had a lot of people come out and say that the attacks happened there. I'm not doubting that attacks happened there.
Yeah, we didn't, from my recollection, I don't remember prosecuting any of those. Now, I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm sure it did. I'm sure it has happened before anybody starts shooting hate on, but that was
and
just
everything don't make the news.
Yeah, that's correct. It doesn't. So I'm sure, it's Jackson, it's a parking lot. I'm sure bad things happen. Not saying that. But so anyway, it just, and then the other thing was I read in her post was that they didn't take any money.
And she offered it.
Yeah. And that struck me as very suspicious. Like, I just,
So I made a list here of about 7 reasons why I think it's BS.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these I got from you, and some of these I kind of put together on my own. So I'm just going to kind of read down these.
Yeah.
One, she was already not using her legal name on Facebook. Why would she change? She was already using her legal name, which I have, but I'm not going to share.
Okay.
I said, so what was the purpose in changing her already not legal name to a different version of that? That Morgan Bree,
it was Morgan Brianne, and changed the Morgan Bree or something,
and changed the spelling of it.
Mm-hmm.
What was the point in that? While leaving the post up after it had been shared 5,000-6,000 times, she added some weird link about nurses being abused on the job that felt like she was trying to magnify the point that she's a victim no matter what.
Right.
And because it's one thing to be abused on the job as a nurse. We know that happens with patients abusing nurses.
My sister's a nurse. I hear about it all the time.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So that's one thing. But then getting assaulted in the parking lot that's another thing. That's not the same thing. Why would you tie those two things together?
Right.
3, she got off the comments because I assume other people were questioning it.
Yeah.
4, I have spoken to some sources in law enforcement, and they also question the legitimacy of her claims. That does not mean she's lying. By no means. I'm just saying I'm not the only person that thinks this isn't 100% true. And 5, and this is where Sean and I agree. I actually got this from Sean. I give Jackson thugs a lot of crap, but I know their nature well enough to know that they aren't just beating white women for sport.
Yeah.
I believe the second she offered her purse and her belongings, he would have taken it and hauled butt.
That was the kicker for me.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the kicker.
And 6, she claims that a vehicle pulled up and it scared the assaulter off. I'd like to know if that driver saw anything and gave a witness statement.
Yeah. And if he did, and then of course that would change the whole story if he saw someone run off and that kind of situation.
And then this is one that I discussed with Sean, I believe. How long has she been off the clock when this alleged assault occurred? All these questions should have quick and easy verified answers. I'm looking forward to hearing them and seeing where this goes.